It's day 2 of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. The forum takes place amid the global pressure for world leaders to stem the rising inflation and the cost of living. The Ukraine war and the climate change risk that face the world are just some of the discussions that are going to be had at that particular gathering, and that's where we find our business editor, Xolani Mbanjwa, who is live for us there. Xolani, good morning to you. So, what are delegates saying about the global markets which are under pressure at the moment, and not forgetting Bitcoin? Why is that part of the equation?
Good morning there, Oli. It's a chilly morning here in Davos, and there's a lot of expectation, a lot of movement, and very, very tight security on top of buildings, looking down on delegates, moving around to go and join some of these discussions. Yesterday, I spoke to some of them, and one of the things that they said is that while they are meeting here, they are having a hawk's eye view on the calamity that is taking place in global markets. If you would look, many of those markets have been having some tumultuous, hairy weeks, particularly when you look at the USA. There it's a worry and a real concern that that particular country is going to face a recession. It is inevitable, and some of the markets, global markets, are already pricing that in. So it is something that is quite important to look at when you think about the kind of caliber of people that are here, who are the world's most powerful in politics, finance, economics, and arts, technology, and they're looking at how the markets are actually doing. So it's a big concern, and it's not something that they are shying away talking about, and you will think that they are just making deals behind closed doors, but they are really thinking also about how the markets are in the red for the past couple of weeks.
I saw you yesterday talking to our Minister of Human Settlements, and who else is part of the South African delegation that is attending the World Economic Forum there?
One of the people and delegates who is here is Leila Fourie, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. And she is a part of a discussion, of a high-powered discussion of people who are discussing why the markets are not actually helping, or the markets are not actually the economy. And they are actually talking here, discussing why at the time of COVID-19, we saw markets around the world being buoyant. Actually, when you look at South Africa, it was the commodities sector that actually saved us. And they are actually discussing and finding answers to the big question as to why is there no correlation between what happens in the markets and economic growth. We have seen this in the past 2 years. Markets have been making a lot of money. Many investors coined it during that time, and some consumers as well did have an easier time when it comes to the easing of monetary policies around the world, with central banks putting money back in to consumers' pockets. But the times have changed, and they are actually saying, why is the war in Ukraine leading to markets falling in this way when COVID-19, that did not happen? Leila Fourie is part of that discussion, and also Mahanyele Tabengwa, the Naspers CEO, is also here to discuss what role Africa is going to play and what it needs to actually have its role in the world being more efficient and being more felt. So it's actually something that is quite disturbing when you look at the World Economic Forum report itself on global risk, saying that with the war, onset of war in Ukraine, we are expecting lower economic growth in 2022 at 3.6%, while 2021 economic growth was at 6.1% globally. So the markets are not the economy, and that's been very clear for many years. By why is it like that? And that's a big question that some of our South African delegates will have to actually answer when it comes to some of the discussions today.
In our next conversation with Xolani Mbanjwa, we'll tackle the issue of when that conference has wrapped up, what should be the achievement of this gathering above all else. For the time being, let's leave it there with our business editor, Xolani Mbanjwa, live for us in Davos, Switzerland.